The day of the explosion, there was no warnings.
We live in Freeport, which is an hour south of Houston. It's a EJ community, low income. We live right next door to Port Freeport. We are surrounded by Dow Chemicals' largest complex, Phillips 66, Chevron, BASF, and also Freeport LNG. On June the 8th, there was a terrible explosion. It was I think 450 feet high vapor cloud that exploded. There was a fire that followed. What we're concerned about is the public, we have not been given any details or a report about what the investigation by PHMSA. We live in fear with the risk every day of another explosion, either in the pipeline, the tank farms, or on the island, the liquefaction plant.
The day of the explosion, there was no warnings. No phone calls from our community system for emergencies. No robocalls, nothing. I found out that afternoon at 5 o'clock on the 5 o'clock news. I have 27 grandkids. I watch my mama, I watch my grandmother, I watch my auntie, my uncle, I watch every last one of them die from cancer. Babies in our community being born with cancer. The majority of the people on the east end of Freeport are minority people that was designated to the east end of Freeport in 1932 by C.W. Collins, made the segregation order. So all the plants and everything is surrounded the east end of Freeport. Then the Port of Freeport decided to landlock everything around the city of Freeport and within the city of Freeport. So now we have all these petrochemical plants that come into Freeport, and we have all the pipelines coming into Freeport. Our population is dwindling, but the plant growth is 110%.
Working in the plants, operators don't understand the chemicals. They don't understand the MSD shit. Nobody never go and tells them, you know, what's in the pipeline, what's to happen. We do respiratory once a year, but no one have a respiratory you can take out your locker, and if you have to evacuate, you have that, and you have the gears on to protect yourself. The industry has really neglected the citizen, not only of Freeport, but of Texas, because no one have knowledge of where all this sickness coming from, this death is coming from, liver cancer, lung cancer, breathing cancer. I could breathe as a child. My mother could breathe. Heart problems, all kind of conditions that came from the plant. Water contamination. Couldn't understand why there were no fishes in the water. The water was contaminated from the plants. No one never told us because they didn't want us to be informed.
And we are here again in front of FERC in Washington to again appeal to Chairman Glick and the other commissioners of FERC to follow through on what they started a few months back, to say they were in approving or not approving LNGs. They would look closer at environmental justice, communities and issues, and also at climate change. And for whatever reason, they seem to back off of that, and we need their protection in our sacrificed communities.